Today, I'm excited to break down some high-level meta in Halo 3, something called dirtying weapons and its strategic advantage in competitive play. Now, this gameplay I'm going to be showcasing is taken from Denial versus TOX in Grand Finals of the St. Louis Championship that took place back in January, so this is a perfect place to take a look at it. And before we get into the analysis, I want you guys to check out my Discord. I now have a Discord community. I've linked it in the description below. Make sure to join my community. We'll talk about the Halo analysis videos I put up, new video ideas about HCS Weekly, just a great way to bring the community together and to give you guys a voice. But let's get into the analysis for today. Let's kick this off with a play from Shelly, backing up into his training. You'll see him play patiently here as he moves up to Sword. Two of his teammates are currently down, as you can see from the red X's. His objective is to stay alive here as long as he can, with the OS coming up in just a couple seconds, preparing himself and positioning his reticle perfectly to fire shots into Snakebite. He'll burn the OS, but watch the aggressive play. Pushing up on APG, he'll fire shots, take him down for the double, immediately challenge Lethal with the shots into bottom S1, trying to stay alive with the strong side, continues to push up onto their base, but he will be taken down by Snakebite, who spawned up in the Mauler. Regardless, the pressure from Shelly pushed TOX back into their spawns and created an opening for Denial to collapse on and control the enemy team's tower. And this is where the high-level Halo 3 meta comes into play, a term we like to call dirtying weapons. In Halo 3, when a power weapon spawns, it spawns in the air and then falls before finally settling into the floor. So to dirty a weapon, you have to essentially grab it out of the air before it settles, and that's exactly what Commonly is about to do. You can see he's standing on the sniper spawn, and he's holding the weapon pickup button, so the moment that the sniper spawns, he can grab it out of the air, and pay attention to his position as well. He's in a great spot where he's avoiding angles from Sword or over at training. Simply by standing here, he knows he can still reach the sniper, but he's limiting the enemy's options for attacking him as well, which is smart. So he grabs the sniper, and now he's dirtying it. But what does that mean? How does it work? So essentially in Halo 3, the weapon spawn system is kind of weird in that when one weapon spawns, the timer for the next one following it won't start till that first weapon settles on the map for at least 2 seconds. So basically, because Commonly grabbed this sniper before it settled, this next sniper after it won't spawn until Commonly stops moving for at least 2 seconds, or at least until that weapon that he's holding stops moving for at least 2 seconds. Whether Commonly dies, whether he trades it out for something else, whether he just stops moving and stands still for 2 seconds, essentially Commonly controls when the spawn timer starts. He has complete control over how long he wants to delay the timer on the next sniper spawn. So the moment he stops moving is the moment that the 2 minutes and 30-second timer for the next sniper will happen, which is huge from a strategic perspective, because that means that not only Commonly, but his whole Denial team knows when that next sniper is going to spawn, and TOX has no way of knowing it. So they could delay it for 30 seconds, 1 minute, whatever they want to do. They just have to make sure their coach takes notes on the moment that they stop standing still, so that they have that mental note on when the next one's coming up. So now that we know how dirtying weapons works, let's find out how long Commonly delays that timer. Now, during the actual broadcast, the commentators were unaware of the fact that Commonly was dirtying the weapon, so the broadcast switched off of his POV before he stopped moving. But with the quad POV I've got behind me, we can see it all in more detail. By the way, guys, if you want to check out this quad POV on your own time, go to twitch.tv/UGCRed or UGCBlue. You can see all 4 perspectives from both teams for not only just the grand finals, but any of the matches in the tournament. I've linked both the Twitch links in the description. You can go check that out on your own time. But let's get into it. Let's find out exactly how long he held onto that sniper. We're going to be focusing on the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I know, guys, I'm covering the bottom left-hand corner that's straight sick. I'll figure out how to navigate around that later in the analysis. All right, pay attention to the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can see Commonly making his way over to the enemy team sniper. He's grabbed it out of the air. The next step is to figure out when he stops moving. Throughout this entire sequence, he's still moving, still looking to apply pressure. You can see Ares trying to help out bottom tower. Shelly making his way through the long haul. Commonly backing up in Sword, looking for a quick scope onto Snakebite to take him down. But he's still moving, still hasn't stopped, and he's looking for angles to help his teammates. Even these little micro strafes, as long as he doesn't stop completely, the weapon timer is still being delayed. Dropping down right here, right behind Eco with the embarrassing BR shots to take him out as well. He hasn't stopped yet on bottom Sword, still strafing, waiting for that final moment here. 6:53, 52, right there at 6:51. He stopped moving. You can see when he brought up that scoreboard. So right there, he stopped moving. Okay, so from this point, 26:51, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we're going to figure out what the time is. Now note that it is supposed to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but because of the weird weapon spawn system in Halo 3 where weapons spawn in the air and then drop and then have to settle in the floor for a couple seconds before the next spawn timer starts, there's this like 3 to 4 second extra buffer that happens, so it's more like 2 minutes 33, 2 minutes 34 seconds, which does actually have a pretty big compilation effect in competitive play. If you're playing a 30-minute match, that extra 3 seconds, 4 seconds, if compiled on top of each other towards like the very last sniper in the game, you'll have a very drastically different spawn time than you might expect if you're just timing 2 minutes and 30 seconds every time. And that's a whole other video topic that I'd have to go over for specific spawn times. But anyway, for the sake of this video, the 2 minutes, 33 seconds, whatever, let's say, should bring you down to about 24:18. And this is TOX at this point at 24:18. You'll see in the bottom left hand, I'm covering it, but Snakebite does have a sniper, and that is the enemy team's. That's Denial's sniper. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is like they're operating as if they don't know there's a sniper right behind them. Like APG just spawned, it's 24:06. There's a sniper right behind him, and they are spawning on top of it. And TOX, the best team in Halo 3 right now, has no idea. You can see they finally notice it right here, and that's at 23:57. So literally at 24:08, when the sniper should be up behind them, they are spawning up completely unaware of the fact that there's a free sniper on their spawn, and they only figure it out right over here when they switch over to notice Commonly's on S1, and he's grabbing their sniper and taking advantage of it. Now, with TOX unaware of the exact spawn time of their sniper, Denial can gain some serious success by pressing this advantage, and that's exactly what happens right here. What we're about to see is an excellent team play from Denial, and you might notice I'm on the opposite side of the screen. That's because we're going to focus on the team play between Ares and Straight Sick first, and then we'll take a look at Commonly and Shelly to round things out. First, take a look at Ares in the top left-hand corner. While Shelly and Straight Sick are pushing up on Sword, Ares is being extra sneaky, taking advantage of an opportunity to flank all the way behind enemy lines. And look at that. This is perfect, just textbook, patient Halo play. Don't shoot the low-hanging fruit from a terrible position. Instead, be patient, put yourself in a power position where you have way more advantages, and make sure to check your corners. You can see that Ares is looking around, making sure he's the only one up here, and now he's in a way better spot to just assault Lethal and take him out instantly. So he goes down, and remember guys, they dirtied the sniper spawn. They altered the sniper spawn time. Denial is aware of this. TOX isn't. The next sniper should be spawning around 21:50, 21 high 40, so it should already be up. But Ares, as he drops, first thing he's going to do is hold his angle and be patient here. He knows that Snakebite is currently on the bottom of Sword. They're in a battle with him. If Snakebite tries to run, Ares is ready to fire that shot. But Snakebite, he's under a lot of pressure. Ares is going to change his mind, go and grab that sniper, and now we have some dual sniper action here. We got sniper control on the left-hand side of the screen. Take a look at Straight Sick as well. He's going to land some beautiful shots, but the biggest thing to pay attention to is the teamwork between Ares and Straight Sick here. Watch how these guys play. If Ares decides to be aggressive, watch how Ares pushes up, Straight Sick pushes up with him. They push up together in a coordinated fashion. When Ares starts to back off, Straight Sick realizes that Snakebite and team are pushing up. They back up together. They work together as a coordinated unit. This is huge. And take a look at these beautiful shots from Straight Sick. The quick scope to land the headshot right there, the body, and the second one to get the double. And pay attention to the quick scope. Like, note that in this one moment, there's one critical moment right here. In this moment right here, there's a split second where I guarantee you Straight Sick can see the shot happening in his head before it happens. He knows what type of right stick flick he needs to do, and he just needs that split second to calculate it all in his head and then follow through. So always pay attention to that split second before the quickscope. That's where the player can visualize the shot. Right there, where he can visualize the shot happening, what happens next is a tiny right stick flick and a right stick click at the same time. They're happening in unison. It's like it's a movement and a click, and you really are only going to know until you practice and practice and practice. But just give yourself that brief, that split second to see the shot, to calculate things in your head. What type of flick do I have to do? How aggressively do I have to flick that right stick, followed by that right stick click with confidence to land it right on his head? And Straight Sick is one of the best in the game at doing this. He lands some amazing ones. But look at this. So Straight Sick, Ares working together. Ares, his objective, be a nuisance. Stay on top tower and just be annoying. Fire shots, keep the enemy pinned down in their spawns. Straight Sick is actually being really smart here. After this double, he recognizes that one of his teammates, which you'll see on the right hand of his screen, one of his teammates has died in training. He's going to fill in that spot in training, pushing up forward, but he's doing it for two reasons. The rockets are spawning as well, and you need to be aware of this. 2050 is the rocket spawn time Straight Sick knows that. He's putting himself in a way better position on training here, holding these angles, making sure he can take out these players if need be, going back and forth between both trainings here. Aries, in the meantime, just be annoying, just be a nuisance, just stay alive. This is actually risky from Aries. He dropped down. He's going to be a little overzealous, gets a little aggressive with the challenges here, and unfortunately, he does go down. But Straight Sick, watch this man pick up the pieces. Amazing play from this guy. He's moving over to grab the sniper ammo, but he's doing two things. He's blocking the courtyard spawn, and he's grabbing the ammo at the same time. And this is huge because it's going to force the spawns in the Mauler, which is exactly what they want because they're going for a tower side flag run. And I know I'm covering it. It's actually happening right behind me. Shelly currently running the flag through the tower. As you can see, tower side flag runs can be risky. They can be difficult to set up, but in a situation like this, when you've dirtied the enemy team's weapons, you have complete control over so many power weapons in the map. This ended up being an excellent play from Denial. Let's take a look at the other side and see how they rounded things out. Okay, now let's look at Commonly and Shelly. You can see while Aries is making the flank, Commonly on the top right corner is the back player, and he's doing a perfect job playing as the anchor. Somebody needs to tie up the loose ends while the rest of the team is being aggressive pushing forward. Commonly is holding his ground back here, firing shots, but making sure to stay alive and play passively, tossing nades into both of the lanes to block off opportunities for enemies on both of the sides. You can see he's tossing nades back and forth. Now Shelly goes down, Commonly pushes up into training to fill in that spot, and watch the amazing team play here. Look at Shelly now in the bottom right. He's about to spawn up, and Shelly knows what to do. Shelly's going to fill in Commonly's spot. Now Shelly is the back player, and they're swapping sides. He's now pushing up on Eco with a double shot, beat down to take him out, throwing the nades into the long haul as well, doing an amazing job playing passively, playing as their anchor. And this is exactly how it has to happen while Commonly pushes up on the opposite training. Shelly knows to not go too far. Ground bounce nade, just in case somebody was pushing through green, he can stop that player as well. This is amazing team play between this entire team to tie up all these loose ends, and Shelly making sure to prep himself for the rocket spawn coming up soon, and Commonly knowing that as well. When he spawns, he's going to join Shelly and help him out with the rockets. So you can see 2050 is the spawn timer for rockets as he backs up. They'll spawn up exactly at 2050. He grabs them, Commonly pushing up. They're working together now. He's going to try to stop the long haul. Shelly coming back to work with him. Even Straight Sick at this point was coming back with the sniper to try to stop and tie up these loose ends while Aries was being a nuisance on the tower. And now they're pushing up forward in unison. They have all the power weapons, and this is just textbook team play right here. Look at Shelly taking advantage of an opportunity to push forward with the rockets. Will fire one off to try to help Commonly, fire a second, recognizing that Commonly goes down. He sees the opportunity to run the flag through tower, and this is the amazing play from this team. Now he's running this flag, and they do manage to get this cat that you'll see in a second. Unfortunately, I'm covering Straight Sick, who's making dirty plays right here, just tossing his scope into the enemy and just locking players down. Aries working with him as well, and both these players just trying to lock down the spawns so they can get the flag into their base. But you'll notice that their flag is gone too at this time, and that is because TOX is a smart team. TOX can't be messed with. They know exactly how to counter situations like this. If you're on TOX in a situation like this, it is so important to recognize when your flag is going to be compromised and to find an opportunity to slip through the cracks and overextend to the other side. Look at Lethal in this situation. On the top right-hand corner, he notices that his teammates are down, tosses two nades, and decides he needs to overextend. He's not going to worry about trying to chase down that flag. Instead, he's getting to the other team's base when he has the opportunity to slip through the cracks here where the rest of the team is focused on that flag run. He fires shots into Commonly. He'll run across their stage here, and watch what he does when he grabs the flag. Very important, very patient play from Lethal. He throws it out a little bit, but recognizes that his teammates are not yet in position to help him with this run. Notice how nobody is currently in position to help Lethal with this run. If he just desperates that run and tries to get over to the long haul, he will probably die. So instead, Lethal, being a very smart player, goes back into their mauler and plays patiently, holding it down, firing shots into Commonly, waiting for his opportunity for his team to converge around the flag so then he can grab it and start making the run. Beautiful, high-level play from Lethal right there. He'll die, pass it off to Snakebite. Snakebite, who's currently behind me, and Snakebite will finish off that run with just your perfect flag run right there, dropping it in the pedestal. The biggest thing that Denial can do to counter this is to recognize that that overextend can happen and capitalize on it more quickly. Commonly, we're looking at you here. So top right-hand corner, take a look at Commonly. He's going to spawn up in bottom of his tower right now. He spawned up. Take a look at the rest of his team. His team is not in a position to really do much to stop that overextend from happening. You got one on their training. Ares, straight sick, is locking down the tower with a sniper to help Shelly, who's doing the run. Commonly spawn bottom tower. Commonly is the back player who does have an opportunity to try to stop the overextend. But before he does that, he walks forward over to his training, takes shots from Lethal, realizing he's under pressure, decides to now double back and try to fire shots into Lethal. That one little instance in timing made this situation a little bit more difficult and made it harder for them to stop that flag from being ran. And Lethal, of course, put himself in a great spot in that Mauler to stay alive. And commonly he's not doing anything wrong from this point. It's just about recognizing that overextend is going to happen the moment that you spawn and putting yourself in a better spot immediately, either on top of tower or beelining your way over to the base to try to stop that initial flagpole from happening. Regardless, we saw some amazing team plays from Denial and a great answer back from TOX to keep themselves in the game at 1-1, and that's just a perfect example of how dirtying weapons can affect strategy in Halo 3 in such important ways. Controlling both snipers and the rockets on that map, they were able to make a tower side flag run, an unbelievable way to seal out that first cap. Also want to give a shout out to Callous, the coach of Denial, who was there live while this play was happening. Gave me some great macro insight for this video. I've linked his Twitter in the description below. And if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell beside the subscribe button. Keep in touch with everything the moment it comes out. And also, just so you know, episode 19 of HCS Weekly is now available on YouTube. I've linked that in the description as well. I interview both Saiyan and Denial. Ares is in the interview as well. We're talking about competitive settings across Halo 3, Halo 5, and what we want to see in Halo Infinite. So very interesting discussion. Highly recommend you check that out in the description below. And also, guys, join me on my live stream. I will be streaming from the moment the video goes live up until about 9 p.m. Eastern or so. We'll see. Come hang out. I'll be playing some Halo 5. Either way, till next time, have a good night.
Two players down again for
Unfortunately, Straight Sick is going to be blocking these courtyard spawns. I don't know if it's the right play or not because you want to get that sniper ammo, but because of that, players are now spawning over at Needler and Mauler. Looks like they are going to do the play where they run flag towards courtyard. This is like we heard the analyst talk about earlier. It's such a tough play to pull off, or it was much less successful back in the day, but some of these newer players seem to have figured it out.